Thank you for joining us for Salem Witch Trials Daily. I'm Josh Hutchinson.
This is Sarah Jack. On Monday, May 9th, 1692, Salem Magistrates John Hathorne and Jonathan Corwin were joined by assistants William Stoughton and Samuel Sewall when they interrogated George Burroughs, Ann Sears, Sarah Dustin, Bethiah Carter Sr., and Sarah Churchill.
At the start of the examination of former Salem Village minister George Burroughs, the officials met with him alone in a private room, none of the accusers being present. This was a courtesy extended to a minister.
Burroughs admitted that he had not taken communion in so long that he couldn't remember when the last time had been. He denied that his house in Falmouth, Maine had been haunted, but he did agree that there were toads there. He denied that he made his wife swear that she wouldn't write to her father without George's approval of her letters. He admitted that he had not had his children baptized, except for the oldest.
Then the chaos began. George was led into the room where many of the supposedly bewitched people were waiting. Immediately, the bewitched were grievously tortured. Then their testimony was read for all to hear.
Susannah Sheldon testified that the ghosts of Burroughs' first two wives had come to her and told her George had murdered them.
Mercy Lewis testified that George, who had been her family's pastor in Maine, had come to her spectrally on the evening of May 7th and grievously tortured her, encouraging her to sign his book. We have more details on Mercy's account of this spectral visit in our May 7th episode.
On May 8th, according to Mercy, Burroughs came again and threatened that she should not see the ghosts of his two deceased wives because they would implicate him, and Mercy should not witness against him.
But Mercy saved the most dramatic part of the story for the last, testifying that on May 9th, 1692, Mr. Burroughs carried me up to an exceeding high mountain and showed me all the kingdoms of the earth and told me that he would give them all to me if I would write in his book, and if I would not, he would throw me down and break my neck.
She continued, I told him they were none of his to give, and I would not write if he threw me down on 100 pitchforks.
Then Mary Walcott's testimony was read. She said that George Burroughs or his appearance came to her and urged her to write in his book while torturing her. She declined the invitation, so he kept returning to torture her until May 8th, when he seemed to want to get something off his chest.
The spectral George told Mary that he had wanted to murder his first wife while she was in labor. However, he did not have that kind of power, so he kept her in the kitchen until he was able to kill her. He told her not to say anything about it. So his first two wives' ghosts showed up to Mary and cried for vengeance against him.
And then Elizabeth Hubbard said that on May 2nd at night, George Burroughs visited her with his book and asked her to sign it. The lines inside were red as blood.
The next morning, George's specter turned up again and told Elizabeth he was above a wizard, for he was a conjurer. In the week between the 2nd and the 9th, Burroughs appeared every day and night offering the book and telling Elizabeth to run away.
Then it was Susannah Sheldon's turn. According to her, George Burroughs brought a book to her and told her he would tear her to pieces if she didn't sign it. Then, when she said no, he told her he would starve her to death. And last night, he warned her not to go to his examination and testify against him. As we reported yesterday, he then boasted about murdering 7 people.
Ann Putnam Jr. said the last night the apparition of George Burroughs grievously tortured her and urged her to sign his book. Then he warned Ann that his dead wives would come and lie to her.
The 2 ghosts appeared and confronted George, telling him he had been cruel to them and that their blood did cry for vengeance against him. They said they would be clothed with white robes in heaven when he should be cast into hell. With that, George vanished. The wives looked at Anne, their faces turning as pale as white walls.
Spooky. The first wife said George had stabbed her under her left arm and placed sealing wax on the wound. This ghost pulled open her winding sheets and showed Anne the spot.
And then the second wife told Anne that George and the woman who became his third wife had killed her as she was sailing to visit her friends. Both ghosts told Anne to inform the magistrates at once.
Then, the replacement minister, Deodat Lawson's murdered wife and daughter, came to Anne spectrally, saying that George had murdered them.
And that wasn't the end of the ghostly parade, for Goodman Fuller's first wife blamed George for her death too, which she pinned on a disagreement between George and her husband.
After the afflicted accuser testimony had been read into the record, all of these stories, the magistrates asked George what he thought of everything. And it's recorded that he said, "It was an amazing and humbling providence, but he understood nothing of it." He pointed out that the accusers could not say his name.
Testimony against George Burroughs also came from Sarah Bibber, Abigail Hobbs, Deliverance Hobbs, Eliza Kaiser, Captain Simon Willard, John Brown, John Weldon, Captain John Putnam, and Captain William Wormall.
After his examination, George was bound over for jail.
Records do not exist for the examinations of the others that were questioned today: Ann Sears, Sarah Dustin, Bethia Carter Sr., and Sarah Churchill.
For more on the events of May 9th, we recommend a pair of books. First, The Salem Witch Trials by Marilynne K. Roach, which provides a day-by-day accounting of the witch trials through the records. And the second book is Records of the Salem Witch Hunt, edited by Bernard Rosenthal, which is a compendium of the surviving legal records of the witch trials. You can get both from our online bookshop. Visit bookshop.org/shop/endwitchhunts.